I've been putting this together for a while now, going back through every hard season, every dark chapter, every moment I was sure I was alone. And I've been finding the same thing every time in places I missed. The first time around, evidence that you were there in the very middle of the worst of it, not at the edges, in the middle. I thought absence was the explanation for the silence, and I've learned that silence is not the same as absence. And the God who was quiet was not the God who was gone. You never left, I see it now. You never left, not in the survival, not in the grief, not in the exhaustion, not in the darkest night of my darkest season. You never left, I thought you were gone. You were right there in the thing I was going through. You never left, I'm not saying that as a line, I'm saying it because I've looked back and checked, and you were there every single time. You never left. There were moments I called out and heard nothing, and decided from the silence that the line was dead, that nobody was on the other end of the conversation I was having with what might have been just the inside of my own head. And I've gone back to those moments and looked at what happened after them. And every single time something came, not always what I asked for, not always the way I expected it, but something that required a presence I couldn't see, something that only happens if someone is there. You never left, even there in the place I was most certain I was alone, even there in the night that felt like the end of everything, even there in the silence that felt like absence, even there in the questions that felt like abandonment, even there, you were there, you were there, even there, I can see it now, even there, even there, you never left, not once, not for a moment, not even when I stopped believing you were staying. You never left, you never left. And I wanna say that to the person who thinks you're gone right now. You never left. The silence is not the evidence you think it is. You never left. I've been on the other side of the silence and looked back, and you were in it. Ooh, you never left. This is the testimony from the man who checked every season and found you in everyone. You never left, you never left, you never left, found you in everyone. You never left. Every single time, you never left. remember that season, the one where I was counting days, not looking forward, just making it to the next one, and calling that success. I was holding on to whatever I could reach, and mostly I didn't know what I was holding on to. I just knew I hadn't let go yet, and I call that surviving, and it was. But I can see now what I couldn't see then. Something was holding back the thing that should have broken me. Something was in the barely holding on. That wasn't me. When I was barely holding on, you were holding on to me. When I was barely holding on, what I thought was my grip was your grip on me. When I was barely holding on, I didn't know who was really doing the holding. I thought it was me. When I was barely holding on, and I look back now and I see the specific moments where I should have let go and didn't. And it wasn't my strength that kept me when I was barely holding on. You were holding on to me. There's a verse that says, He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. And I read that in the hard season as a hope, and I read it now as a fact that I verified in my own life. He didn't sleep in the season I needed watching, and He didn't let the thing that should have taken me out take me out. When I was barely holding on, someone was awake. I've talked to people who have been where I was, and they all say the same thing. I don't know how I made it, and I think the answer is the same for all of us. You don't know how you made it because you didn't make it on your own. Something held what you couldn't hold and kept you through what should have broken you. And that something has a name, and His name was there when I was barely holding on. When I was barely holding on, it was you. When I was barely holding on, underneath my shaking grip was a grip that didn't shake. When I was barely holding on, thank you for not letting go. When I let go of everything I thought I was holding, when I was barely holding on, I was held by something stronger than my holding. When I was barely holding on, you never left. I was held. When I was barely holding on, you never left. I was held. The grief had a texture I wasn't prepared for. It wasn't clean, it wasn't linear. It showed up at wrong times, in wrong places. And it didn't care about my schedule, or my theology, or my confidence that everything was going to be okay. It just came and demanded to be felt, and I felt it. And somewhere in the feeling of it, I asked, where are you? And heard nothing that sounded like an answer. And I've gone back to the grief with the distance that time gives, and I found something I missed the first time through, because I was too inside it to see. In the grief, you were there. In the grief, not answering the way I asked you to, but present. In the grief, in the specific moment when the loss was the most real and the most heavy, you were in it with me. Oh, in the grief, I know that now, the way I know things that I learned from the inside, not from a book. In the grief, you were there. You never left, even in the grief. I've been trying to name where exactly I felt it, and it's hard to describe, because it wasn't comfort, it wasn't peace, it was something quieter, a weight that kept me from flying apart completely, when everything in me wanted to come undone. Something held the shape of me, even while the grief was breaking things inside the shape. And I think that was you in the grief. He was a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. That's what the text says about Jesus. Acquainted with grief, not unfamiliar with it, not distant from it. Acquainted, which means close, which means present, which means when I was in the grief, I was with the one who knows what grief feels like from the inside. And he didn't tell me to feel better, he was just there in the grief with me, acquainted. Till I look back and realize the presence without the explanation was more than the explanation would have been. In the grief, you were there. You were there. You never left. Not even in the grief. You never left in the grief. Never left in the grief, not even there. You never left. I remember the specific feeling of having nothing left. Not the dramatic version, the quiet version where you just do the next thing without any sense of why or whether it matters. Where you say the right things because you've said them long enough to say them without feeling them, and you're not sure when the feeling left or if it's coming back. That kind of empty, the functional kind that nobody sees from the outside. And in that empty, something kept me going through the motions, until the motions started meaning something again. And I couldn't name what it was at the time, but I can name it now. When I was running on empty, you were the fuel I didn't know I had. When I was running on empty, something kept the engine running past where it should have stopped. When I was running on empty, the reserve I didn't know was there was you sustaining what I couldn't sustain. When I was running on empty, I thought I was running on nothing, and I was running on something I couldn't measure or see or feel, but it was real. When I was running on empty, you never left. I've asked myself how I made it through the exhausted season, and the honest answer is I don't know, which tells me it wasn't just me, because I know what just me produces. And what came out of that season was more than I went in with. And that math doesn't work unless something was added to the equation that I couldn't see. When I was running on empty, he was adding. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. I claim that verse in the empty season, not because I felt it, because I needed it to be true. And looking back, it was not always in the way I was picturing. Eagles are dramatic. Most of the renewal was quieter, was just enough to keep going one more day. When I was running on empty, that was the verse. Working in the ordinary. Why? When I was running on empty, you refilled what I didn't know could be refilled. When I was running on empty, I made it through the season that should have ended me. When I was running on empty, and I came out the other side with things I didn't go in with. Patience, depth, the specific kind of quiet that only comes from surviving the empty. When I was running on empty, you were there. You never left. You were the reserve I didn't know I had. You were there when I was running on empty. You never left. You were the reserve. The silence was the hardest part, harder than the pain, because pain at least tells you something is real. The silence made me question whether anything was real, whether the prayer was going anywhere, whether anyone was on the other end of the conversation I was having with what might have been just the inside of my own head. And I sat in that question for longer than I wanted to, because the silence didn't give me an easy way out of it. And I've come to understand something about the silence that took me longer to learn than I thought it should. Silence is not the same as absence. I know that now, from the other side of the silence. Oh, the silence wasn't absence. The silence was a different kind of presence. The silence wasn't absence. You were in it, not speaking, being. The silence wasn't absence. And I know that sounds like something people say when they don't have a better answer, but I've checked and the evidence says you were there. The silence wasn't absence. You were the weight in the quiet, the thing that kept me from completely coming undone. In the silence wasn't absence. You never left. I've talked to people who pray, and I've noticed that the ones who've been in the longest silence are often the ones who know God the most personally. Like the silence does something that the easy answer doesn't do. Drives you deeper into the relationship instead of the information. And I wonder if the seasons God says least are sometimes the seasons He's doing most, just not in ways that make noise. Elijah heard a great wind, and then fire, and then earthquake, and God was not in any of them. And then a still small voice, a gentle whisper, and God was in that. And I think some of us are waiting for the earthquake, and God is in the silence between the words. And if we get quiet enough, we find that the silence was never empty. It was full of something too quiet for the noise we were making to hear. The silence wasn't absence. The silence wasn't absence. And I wish I had understood that in the middle of it. The silence wasn't absence, but I'm grateful I understand it now. And I want to say it to the person in the silence right now. The silence wasn't absence. God is in the quiet in a way He cannot be in the noise. The silence wasn't absence. You never left, not even when you stopped speaking for a while. The silence wasn't absence. You never left. The silence wasn't absence. Not even then. You never left. I've been looking back at the things that helped me in the hard seasons, and I keep noticing that most of them were already in place before I needed them. The person who showed up at the right moment was on their way. Before I knew I needed them, the resource that came through was already coming. Before I knew to ask for it. And I don't think that's coincidence. I think that's what it looks like when the God who sees everything moves in advance. Before I knew I was gonna need it, you were already arranging what I needed. Before I knew it, you were already at work. Before I knew it, the provision was on its way. Before the prayer was prayed, before I knew it, the person I needed was being prepared for the moment I would need them. Before I knew it, you were working in the chapter I hadn't arrived at yet, getting it ready for when I got there. Before I knew it, you were already there. You never left, you were ahead of me. Before I knew it, I think about the moments of rescue that came at the exact right time. And I think about how long it must have taken to arrange them, how many steps had to happen before the moment I experienced His rescue. And God was working all of those steps before I was aware there was gonna be a need for rescue. Before I knew I was gonna need it, He already knew and was already moving. Before you were born, I knew you. Before you were formed, I knew you. The God who knows you before your beginning is the same God who sees your seasons before you arrive in them, and moves in advance into the hardest chapters of your life, so that when you get there, something is already there waiting that you'll think is coincidence, until you look back and count the steps that had to happen for it to be there at exactly that moment. Before I knew it, He already knew. Before I knew it, thank you for working. Before I noticed it, no, I knew it. The help I thought arrived just in time was actually long in coming. Before I knew it, that's the God I'm looking back and seeing in every hard season, working ahead of me, setting things in place before I arrived at the need. Before I knew it, you were already there. You never left, you were always already there. Before I knew it, always already there. Before I knew it. had told me at the start of the hardest season that I'd be standing here on the other side, I wouldn't have believed you, not because I'm weak, but because I knew what I was going into. And I knew what I was going in with, and the math didn't work out to this, to standing here with what I have now. That's not the math I started with. And the only way the math works is if something was added to the equation that I couldn't see or measure or take credit for. Still standing because of you. That's the testimony. Still standing because of you. Not my strength, not my resilience, not my ability to white knuckle through. Still standing because of you. The seasons that should have taken me out didn't, and I know what I brought to them, and it wasn't enough on its own. Still standing because of you. And I want that on the record before I take any credit for making it through. Still standing because of you. I met people who survived things and took all the credit, and I understand the impulse. You survived something hard and you want to honor the part of you that held on, and that's right. And also the full account requires honesty about what else was there, because I know what I was working with, and I know what came out, and the difference between those two is not me. Still standing because of you. Not to us, not to us, not to us, but to your name be the glory for your love and your faithfulness. I've sung that in good seasons, and I want to sing it in this one with specific reference to the season that tested whether I believed it. Not to me, not to my strength, not to my perseverance, to you for what you did in the seasons I couldn't do what needed doing on my own. Still standing because of you. Still standing because of you. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Still standing because of you. It's not a weakness to acknowledge what held you when you couldn't hold yourself. Still standing because of you. This is the most honest version of my story. Not self-made. God kept still standing because of you. After everything I walked through, still standing, and it's not because of me. Still standing because of you. Not because of me. Still standing because of you. God kept still standing because of you. I've been making a list and checking it. The specific times I needed something, and something came. Not always what I asked for, not always in the form I was expecting, but something every single time. Something showed up, and I've been counting, and I can't find a single time where nothing came, where I needed something and nothing came at all. Every time something came, and that's either the most extraordinary coincidence in a single life, or it's evidence of someone paying attention. And I don't believe in the coincidence. Every time I needed you, you came through. Every time I needed you, not always the way I thought through would look like something. Every single time, every time I needed you, the survival, the grace, the comfort and the grief, the supply and the exhaustion. Every time I needed you, something came that I can only account for with your name. Every time I needed you, you were there. You never left. Every time I needed you. I've tested this against the hard seasons, the ones where I was most certain nothing was coming, and in those seasons it took longer to see what came. But it came in retrospect, it always came. And the hardest seasons had the most specific provision, the kind that required the most precise timing, the most unlikely source, the most exact fit for what I actually needed, as opposed to what I asked for. Every time I needed you, the answer was more specific than my prayer. He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? I read that as theology, and now I read it as personal history. The God who gave the most costly thing is not going to withhold the lesser things. And I found that to be true in the accounting of my own life. Every time I needed you, the one who gave everything gave what I needed. Every time. Every time I needed you. Thank you. Every time I needed you. For not missing a single one, for being present and providing every single time, even when I couldn't see it until later. Every time I needed you. This is the testimony I'm leaving as the record of what you did in this life. Every time I needed you, you came through. Every time you never left. Every time I needed you, you came through. Every time you never left. Every time I needed you. There are things I couldn't see, in the middle of it that I can see now from here. And it's not that I was blind, it's that you can't see the shape of something you're inside. You need the distance of the other side to see what it was, and I have that distance now, and I've been using it, and what I'm finding is not what I expected to find. I expected to find randomness, surviving random things, and making meaning after the fact. And what I'm finding is something else, something that looks less like random and more like a hand. I can see it now, what I couldn't see in the middle of it. I can see it now, the pattern in the chaos. I can see it now, the moments that felt like accident that weren't. I can see it now, where you were in the specific places I thought you were absent. I can see it now, the hand I couldn't feel that was holding what I was losing grip of. I can see it now, and the seeing changes everything I thought I understood about what I walked through. I can see it now. The Joseph story is only a story about God's faithfulness. If you read to the end, in the middle of it, it's a story about brothers who betrayed, and a pit, and slavery, and false accusation, and prison. And the story only resolves into what it is when you get to the end. And Joseph says, what you intended for evil, God intended for good. And I couldn't say that in the middle of my hard seasons, and I can start to say it now from here. I can see it now. Oh, things work together for good for those who love God, for those called according to His purpose. I've quoted that verse in hard seasons as hope, and I want to read it now as observation, looking back at the all things and seeing the working together, actually working, not perfectly, not without cost, not without loss, but working towards something that required everything that happened to produce. I can see it now, all things are working together. I can see it now, and the view from here changes the story of what I walked through. I can see it now, not that the hard things weren't hard, they were. I can see it now, but that they weren't without purpose, without presence, without the hand that was in them working. I You were there the whole time. I can see it now. You never left. I can see it now. I want to give an account of what I found when I look back through everything I've been through, and told the honest story of where you were in each chapter. I found you in the survival, in the barely holding on that turned out to be held. I found you in the grief, not explaining it, but in it present. I found you in the exhaustion, in the reserve I didn't know I had, that wasn't mine. And in the silence I thought was absence, I found you there too, the hardest one to find. But you were in the silence, and in the surrender, and in the declaration, and in the commission. You were in everyone. You never left, that's the testimony. You never left, not for a season, not for a moment, not in the dark, not in the silence, not when I stopped looking for you. You never left. I've checked every chapter, and I can't find a single one where you were gone. You never left. This is what I know now from the other side of everything I walked through. You were in every bit of it. You never left. And I want to say something to the person who is in the middle of one of those chapters right now, in the survival or the grief or the exhaustion or the silence. I know what it feels like from the inside, and I know that what I'm saying might sound like something people say when they don't understand what you're in. And I want you to know I understand what you're in, and I'm telling you anyway. From the other side, he is in it with you right now. Even if you can't feel it, you never left. I want to give an account, not a theological argument, a personal one. I was in the survival, he was there.
I was in the grief,
he was there.
I was exhausted past.
What I thought I could survive, he was there.
I went through the healing,
He was doing the healing.
I laid it all down.
He was waiting with open hands.
I
I declared I wasn't done.
he had already known I wasn't.
I said, send me
He had already prepared.
where I was going,
And in every single one,
and in every single one,
in the noise,
in the noise,
and in the silence,
in the silence,
in the fear,
and in the absence of feeling,
he was there.
not once did he leave.
Not for a moment,
Not even the moments I was most certain he had. That is the testimony. He never left,
you never left.
and I carry that now into whatever comes next.
You never left.
Not in the past and not in the future. The God who was faithful in everything behind me
It's the God.
going into everything ahead.
You never left. left.
Mm.
You never left.
You never left.
You never left.
Forever.